This is a lucky tray, and lucky for you, I'm going to show you how to make it in Vectric Spark. So without further ado, let's hop into the software. The first thing we need to do is to go up to the top left and click on Create File. Now the width, I actually measured my material beforehand. I know it's about 16 inches in width, and the length I had 9 inches, and the thickness was 0.73. Measured that with a set of calipers, so do make sure to measure your material before you get started. I'm working in inches at the moment, and I'm happy with the cherry appearance. I'm going to click on Create. Okay, so now we've got our job space. I'm just going to turn my ruler off. I don't need it for the moment, so I can turn it off on the top left. And the first thing we need to have a look at is how we're actually going to bring in or create the elements of our design. So the first thing I want to do is to import an image. So we'll come up to File, and we'll come up to Import, and we're going to choose this image here, the Love image, which is a license-free image that I have. And you can see I've brought it into the software, and I've left mouse clicked it to select it. And I'm just going to make this a lot larger. So I'm going to hold down Shift and select one of the corner handles and just scale this up. I'm going to keep going up and up and up. That's quite a good size, I think, there. Because now I'm going to have a look at tracing this to create our heart. Now I can show you a really interesting and cool way to create your own version of this heart. So if I go over to the top left here and I click onto the Draw Polyline tool, you can see my cursor is now in the Draw Polyline mode, and you can see I can snap to the middle of the job here. So you can see I can snap to the center line to help me aid my drawing. That's because I have the snap options on up here. And I'm just going to click onto the center of the heart here. I'm going to create a point there. I'm going to create a point roughly in the middle of the arc here at the top. And then one over in the left hand side. I'm going to pop one here where it starts to arc and go to straight. And then one right at the very bottom there. That makes up half of my heart. So I'm just going to press space to end that line. And then hit escape on the keyboard to exit drawing. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, that's not a very heart-looking line right now, Nav. Well, that's not a problem at all. So what we can do is start to edit this. So now that I've left mouse click this and selected it, we're going to press N on the keyboard for node editing. And the first thing I'm going to do is to smooth out some of these points where we've got these curves. So I can either right mouse click the node and I can smooth point. You can see the shortcut for it is S on the keyboard. And I'll do the same over here. So S while I hover over it, and S while I hover over that one. You'll notice now the nodes have turned blue. So let's just zoom in a little bit, and we're going to get to work with editing our vector to meet our heart shape. So let's just bring that over here a little bit. We can drag this handle out, so you can see I can extend that curve. Looking pretty good so far. I can make this handle just a little bit more straight, and I can drag that over a little bit if I want to. And then same over here, I can start to adjust this handle out. And you can see how easily I can start building up this heart shape using the tools I have at hand here. And I can turn off the bitmap using this option in the top left, press escape, and that's looking pretty good. I'm actually quite happy with that. I'm just going to do a little bit more editing. I'll turn back on the image there, press N on the keyboard for node editing. Then it's going to zoom in just a little bit. Let's have a look at this bit just here. We can select that individual handle. You can just move that about as needed. That's quite nice. And I can bring in this point here to make it a little bit more curved if I want to, or indeed keep it straight. And I can lift that up if I want to as well. So I can drag that up. In fact, I'm just going to Command Z that. I'm going to undo that. I'm actually quite happy with how that was. I'm actually quite happy with that. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to turn off our bitmap. I'm going to zoom back out again. And you can see here we've got half a heart. So that's no good to us. We need a full heart. So how do we quickly get a full heart together? Well, I'll show you how to use the mirror tool to get this into a full shape. So let's left mouse click onto our half heart here. We're going to go over to the left hand side and click just under the trim tool. There's an icon here, and you may have seen it as a line, but we can also change that to mirror. So let's select that mirror mode. And we want this option here selected in blue. You can see it says mirror around sheet center. That's what we want. And you'll see these lines pop up to help you guide your mirroring. I'm going to hover over this line, the vertical line, and you can see it's giving me a preview of what that's going to look like. That looks like a heart to me, looks pretty good. So I'm going to left mouse click, and just like that, we have our heart shape. I'm just going to escape out the tool now, because now what you'll notice is I've got two separate vectors, but I need one full vector. So how do we do that? Well, let's first left mouse click and we can drag a selection box to select all of our vectors. Wonderful. And I'm going to come over to the join tool, which is just here under the mirror tool. So we can click on the join tool. And I want to use, in this case, this option just here, which says join/close endpoints at a common point. So I'll move the endpoints to a common point to close up this vector. You'll notice here my cursor has changed to reflect that I'm in the join mode. And you'll notice that when I hover over the vector, it gives me a plus icon to say I can start joining, and it gives me a red preview of what that's going to look like in the end. So if I just left mouse click, it's moved those endpoints, and now all we have is a single vector that I can move around to my heart's content. So just like that, we now have our heart in the software. So now what we need to have a look at is how to create multiple copies of this heart in a really easy way, and also the outer border for it. So let's get to it. So I'm just going to select my heart, and I'm just going to minimize it just a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to make that just a little bit shorter. About there's quite nice. I'm just going to bring this up in the software, and I'm actually going to use a mirror tool again. So we'll go back over to the mirror tool with this heart selected, and what we're going to do is actually mirror it over the center line. You can see currently right now that's a bit too close. It's going to overlap. So let's bring that up even further, just a little bit. Let's have a look again. Okay, that's much better. Okay, so you'll notice now I've got my lines again. This time we're going to mirror over the central line for the horizontal line. I'm going to left mouse click, and just like that, we've got two copies of our heart. Now, I need another copy on the right and the left, and a really quick way to do this is to simply left mouse click, drag a selection box over your vectors. And now what we're going to do is right mouse click, click copy, but we're not going to paste just yet. Instead, with these vectors selected, we're going to press 0 or 9 twice to rotate the vectors, and then we'll right mouse click, paste, and that will paste these vectors in where they were originally because we made a copy of them when they were vertical. And just like that, really easy, we have our 4 hearts set up for our lucky tray. So now what we're going to have a look at is adding a border to our lucky tray. So to do that, let's left mouse click and drag a selection box over our vectors. We're going to go over to the left hand side of the software, and under the join tool is the offset tool. So let's left mouse click onto that, and we'll have the option for offset inside outside selected, as well as the keep original to keep our original vectors. And you'll notice when I hover my mouse over the hearts here, I get a value showing how much it's going to be offset by in inches, and a preview in red to show me the border that's going to be created. That actually looks pretty good to me. It's a good thick border, but if you want to left mouse click, you can drag this in and out to make some interesting adjustments here, you can see. But let's maybe make that a little bit bigger, so 0.335. You can also enter in a specific value if you like one, but maybe I'll go just a tad larger, 0.35. I think that's the sweet spot for me. That's quite nice. So I hit escape on the keyboard, and just like that, we now have our lucky tray vector set up, so we can start to get to some toolpathing. So to start creating toolpathing, let's go over to the top right hand corner here, and we'll click on this button here to open up the right hand side panel. Now, the first toolpath we're actually going to use is a pocket, but before we do that, we need to come down here under Create Toolpaths where it says Sheet Setup. We're going to click on Edit, and this will open up the form for our sheet settings. So we're just going to double check everything before we move any further. So we're going to double check our width and our length of material is correct, and the thickness, and these are all good to go for me. The XY position, I've gone for the bottom left because that's where I'll set it on my CNC machine. Do double check where you need to set yours on your CNC machine. For the Z0 position, when I set my tool, I'm going to go for the sheet surface. So this is my material surface. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go from the top of that. As for the gaps above sheet, so the clearance, the plunge, and the Z height above sheet, these are all safe and appropriate after testing it on my machine. So you'll need to double check these before you enter these for your CNC because they are likely going to be different. So I'm just going to click on Confirm Sheet Settings when I'm happy with that. And the first toolpath we're going to look at is a pocket. Now we're going to recess these heart elements here to make them into pockets. So we're going to cut them to a pretty decent depth. We've got 0.73 inches of material to work with, so almost 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go down ½ inch, so 0.5. So let's select our vectors first so we can apply some toolpathing. So if we just left mouse click from the bottom right, and we're going to drag while holding down left mouse click a selection box up towards the top left. Now what this will do is that any vectors that are touching that box will be selected. So it's a nice and quick way to select specific vectors. If you don't want to select everything, it's a nice easy way to select just the ones you want. Now under the create toolpath, we're going to go to the third toolpath along from the left, which is the pocket toolpath. And now we're going to have a look at the settings we're going to use for this one. So as I mentioned, I'm going to cut down ½ inch. So I've entered 0.5 inches here. And the tool of choice I'm going to use is a ball nose. I want a lovely curvy kind of finish with the ball nose. So I'm going to use the 1/4 inch ball nose I have here. I can click on select to have a look at it. You'll notice here that these settings I've set up are safe and sound for my machine, but do double check them and make sure that you check what your machine is capable of, specifically for the feed rate and the plunge rate here, along with the spindle speed, because they will be different for every CNC machine and tool. But I'm happy with these settings, and one thing I want to point out here is keep an eye on this value here, which is the step over. So I'm using a 20% step over. So this is literally where the tool is going to cut, step over, and begin cutting again. So there's a distance between each individual pass there. So we'll have a look at this in just a moment and see how this can affect the final result. But I want you to keep in mind that I'm using 20% for the moment. And then for the machining vectors, I'm going to use offset, so the tool is going to go into the middle and machine its way outwards, as opposed to a raster, which would go left and right across our pocket here. And for the cut direction, I'm going to go for a climb. And I don't need an allowance because that would make it smaller or larger as needed, but I don't need that for the moment. But I will call this pocket 0.25 BN, so that means ball nose, and I'll give it a name of recess, so I know it's for the recess pockets here. So nice and clear when I come to machine it, so I know what I'm looking at. And I can click on calculate. So you can see here now we've got a blue set of lines indicating what our tool is going to do. So that's effectively showing where our tool is going to go. And if we have our visibility on for our toolpath here, we can click on selected toolpath, click this button here to run the preview, and you can see here our recesses are being cut, and I could just right mouse click and drag this around. So you can see it's a pretty decent chunk of material that we moved there. So it'll help make this a bit lighter, but also we've got a nice decent sized tray to put any of our stuff in. So I did mention that I had set the step over earlier, and you can see here there's a little bit of tool marking going on. You can see these kind of ridges in here. Now that's what the step over affects. You can literally see, as I mentioned earlier, where this tool is stepping over and cutting through. Now in my case, I don't mind a little bit of sanding after the fact, so this is a relatively flat area, so it's quite nice. I can just sand this down pretty easy. But if you want to spend the time to get a much cleaner result, you can make that step over a lot smaller. Now, in turn, that will mean you're going to have a lot longer of a machining time. So that's the balance you've got there. Is do you want to do a quick toolpath and then do a little bit of manual cleanup, or do you want to have the toolpath do it all for you, albeit it may take a little bit longer? So it's the trade-off you're looking at, but in my case, I'm happy with 20%. I can sand down most of this result away, so I'm happy to give it a bit of a decent sanding down before I add in some finishing later on. With our pocket all set up, the next toolpath we need to have a look at is cutting this out, and then we're all done. So let's go back into this menu here next to the preview one, which is create toolpath. So let's click onto that, and we'll just turn off our bitmap or turn off our ruler, and we're going to go for the first toolpath in the list here, which is the cutout toolpath. So let's left mouse click onto that, which opens up our cutout toolpath here, and we're going to click on the outside vector, and you can see that it's indicated by the dashed line that that vector is selected. Now, the cutout toolpath automatically knows that you're going to cut through the entire depth of your material. So that's one really important thing to know, is that if you use the cutout toolpath, it knows that you want to cut all the way through. So the software's taken into account, it's going to cut 0.73 inches deep, and I have this value here for an overcut distance. So in my case, I have a sacrificial spore board nailed down to my CNC machine. Now, that means I can cut into it if I need to. So in this case, I'm going to use that to my advantage and cut an extra 0.05, just go a little bit lower into that toolpath, into the spore board, gives me a nice clean edge, and it also just makes sure that I get all the way through the material. This is actually quite handy if you are not sure if your material is perfectly flat or not. This is a nice way to make sure that you get all the way through. If you don't have a sacrificial spore board, then you can leave this at 0 if you don't want to risk going straight into the frame of your CNC machine. Now in my case, I'm using a 1/4" end mill for the tool of choice here to cut this out. Again, these settings are safe and sound for my machine after doing some testing, but do double check and change these for your CNC and your tool because they are likely going to be different. As for the options here for machine vectors, I'm going to go outside because I want to cut outside of this vector. And we're going to go for a climb direction, and I will add in some tabs. Now I'm going to check this button here to turn it on, and we're going to add in some tabs. So let's have a look at the length and the thickness. Now, I think I can actually get away with a 1/4 inch length here. I don't need too much of a kind of a large looking tab, but we'll edit the positioning. I can click on edit positioning. That brings up this floating field here. And you notice if I press up or down, I can add in tabs along the different areas of this design. Now, I'm going to be extra safe here and add in these tabs in these locations. Now, I'm going to edit these a little bit. I'm going to left mouse click over this one to get rid of it and put it just here, just because I've got a bit more material to work with here than I might have here when I come to actually cut it. That one's okay. You've got plenty of material this side. This one I'll move just a little bit further in, so over here. And that one's pretty good where it is. Maybe actually I'll move it a little bit further up. There we go. And we'll get rid of that one. So you can see how easy it is. How easy it is to move your tabs around if you need to. I can click on done when I'm happy with that. And then I can simply click on calculate. I'm just going to give this one a name though. I'll call it cutout 25 end mill. So I know it's a 1/4" end mill. So it's nice and easy and clear to me which toolpath I'm running. Click on calculate. Get this warning from the software just to let me know that I'm going to cut through the material. That's absolutely fine. But it's good you can double check these values here to help ascertain how deep it's going to go. Click OK. And let's have a look at the preview for that toolpath. So again, we'll click on selected toolpath with our cutout selected, click on play. And you can see here, we've got our tabs. You can see I've reduced the size of them, just makes it a bit easier when I come to finish it and cut these out. And just like that, our lucky tray is ready to go. So without further ado, let's pop over to the CNC machine and let's have a look at this in action. And just like that, that is the finished lucky tray. See, you can see it came out really, really nice. I actually used the food safe stain on this one, so it's a bit of wax, so you can put a coat on, leave it to dry for a bit, put another coat on, and you're good to go. So safe to use for any of your food items. Now, a couple of tips I will give you is that if you're ever concerned about any kind of lines from the offset from the pocket toolpath, you can increase the step over in your tool settings to make the step over much smaller to get a much cleaner result. Just means less sanding for you in the end, but it does mean that it takes a lot longer. So it depends what matters to you most. Doing a little bit of sanding afterwards, or if you want to add on the extra time by doing it on the machine. But you can see how easy it was to make. You did that in just a couple of minutes. We got it done the software, and then we were on the CNC machine and we're cutting it out. So if I can do it, you can do it. And tune in for more projects from Vectric Spark. Happy making.